because when you break that metaphor down, trauma, like we all hold trauma in our bodies in our own unique ways, and it can really affect our bodies. It can really affect how we show up in the world. It can turn us into different people, right? I mean, I'm sure we've all been affected by someone in our lives who is the life and soul of the party, but then they go through something and suddenly they're a different animal, they're a different beast. And that trauma, just it's such a good metaphor and so well executed in this game that I was feeling it the whole time. And I felt bad for these people, and I wanted to save them, right? And I wanted Hazel to get in there and release them from these pains, the pain that they were going through. It's just so good. So good. So good. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Addison Gaming Podcast, the show where we talk about the games we want to whenever they came out, because that's what we're playing. We'll talk old stuff, we'll talk new stuff, and we'll talk everything in between. I am your host, WckdGmrUK Allen, but on this episode, you can call me Crouton, because he's the cutest little sidekick in the world. And as always, I am joined by the most amazing co-host in the world, known throughout the swamps as the coolest catfish, the ghost of dreams, not nightmares, and the daddy of all weavers, Mike Malldee. How you doing, Mike?
I am doing well. Daddy of all weavers.
Daddy of all weavers. I thought you'd like that one.
Oh gosh, I can't even think of how I'm doing now. I'm feeling good. I do knit. So it did resonate with me a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess with that intro, pretty obvious, we are here to, well, maybe not obvious. We are here to do a full spoiler cast. Nothing's going to be held back. We're going to talk about everything all around South of Midnight. So if you haven't played it, listeners, this is your warning, because spoilers are coming down the line.
And there are some twists.
Lots of good twists. Lots of things to discuss with this one, Mike. In our pre-chat, we were both like, we've got lots of like great things to say, and then other things were like, oh, what happened there? So I'm really excited to get into this with you, because spoiler alert, I really liked this game.
I really like this game. I 100%ed it. So
you did like everything?
Everything. Got all the collectibles.
Shit.
Yes,
that's why you the daddy of all weavers.
Yes. I went back through. I was mad because I missed one thing and I had to go back through and find it. I was so upset.
Oh, what did you miss, and
just
where, how far?
A little note. And so I had it, but I went back and replayed every chapter to make sure I found all the notes and all that stuff. So and then I had to find all the floofs, which is funny. But the floofs. And I fully upgraded Crouton because he was my favorite.
Yeah, Crouton, man. We could do a whole podcast just on Crouton. He is literally the cutest. I don't know what he is.
He's a little voodoo doll.
He's a little voodoo doll. Oh yeah, because she's like using her like weaving things to puppet master him. Yeah, and he's a fucking badass in combat. Like that little thing, like
it saved my life.
Gets into it. Oh, all the time. I want a little Crouton just following me around, like helping me out, doing some stuff for me, going into little spaces.
Exactly.
He would be great at bars, because you could like send him down through the legs of everybody to jump up on the counter and then like grab the drink orders and come back. And the way he walks,
and then the way he jumps forward.
Yeah.
I love it.
Maybe he shouldn't carry the drinks. He'd probably spill them everywhere.
I loved him because when you would send him into little holes, like little rabbit holes or whatever, he would make this little like little whimpers, and it was so cute.
Yeah, or when you were like pulling him back in from the spell, he goes, no. I just wanted to do that a lot.
I loved it, and I felt bad. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna kill me if I keep on doing this to him.
There's a sequel, like The Revenge of Crouton, right?
Yeah, starring Chucky.
Building out the whole like Dolls to Life universe where they all like come for us in our dreams. Like Rue brings them all back to life or something. Not RuPaul, but Rue from South of Midnight.
Yes,
it like brings them all back to life and unleashes them on the world just for a little bit of fun. See what they do, what mischief they get up to.
If it was RuPaul, she would release the dolls.
Oh, fucking yes, Mike. That is so good. Yes.
Protect the dolls.
I want to see that. Actually, I want to see that game now. Release the dolls out into the wild and let them stomp, clomp, and own. Fucking yes. Oh man. Well, I think we pretty much like started on Crouton. That's done. But we've done the podcast. That's all we need to do is talk about Crouton.
There you go.
Welcome. You're welcome, listeners. No, lots to get into with this one. So yeah, as we said, this is going to be our spoiler cast all about South of Midnight. We've played through it. Mike's 100% it. I didn't 100% it, but we both beat it. So looking forward to talking about things, just our general thoughts, the themes that explored in the games, the characters, the folklore, locations, all that good stuff, the graphics. Yeah, I guess let's get into it, Mike. Overall, let's start with overall. Tell me about, because this wasn't a game you were familiar with.
No, you told me about it. I watched the preview and I was like, this looks epic. So, overall, I enjoyed the game. It was entertaining. I never got bored of the story. I love the story. Okay. The visuals were amazing. The music was cool. I just really, one of the most unique games I've ever played. However, the gameplay itself wasn't unique to me. It was giving me Tomb Raider, like how she like when she was like a lot of like the climbing and then like
on
going
the blue
side
ledges.
to side on the ledges and stuff. That was giving me Tomb Raider. And I just felt like the game held my hand throughout the whole thing. So like this is a great game for, I would say child, but there's so much language in this game, like cursing left and right, and I loved it. But I was like, oh, they don't hold back at all.
It's like a good PG-13, like 13, 14-year-old game, right?
I would say rated R even. No.
Really? Okay.
Well, there wasn't there wasn't much like gore. So there wasn't any gore actually, but it was PG-13 with like language, but yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I just wish it didn't hold my hand the whole way, and I wish that the battles weren't just in like a delegated arena area, and we'll get more into that, of course. But overall, I loved the game. I love the story. Alone, the story would sell. So.
Yeah, I think you've said a lot of the things that were on my mind. I think so. I saw the I guess it would have been an Xbox showcase or something, maybe a year and a half ago when they first showed this to the world, and immediately I was drawn in by those visuals, the stop motion animation, and all of that. The visuals. I'll learn to speak by the end.
No,
of the podcast,
I love visuals. It reminds me of Beyonce. That one skit with Jay-Z. It was Maya Rudolph and. It was on SNL, and it was about when Beyonce and then Solange and Jay-Z, they were in the elevator, and like Solange like went after Jay-Z and started like hitting him and stuff.
I didn't see it.
But then she's like, anyways, she says the video of me, and then she's like, no, the visuals, and I don't know. She's always talking about because you know how Renaissance has no visuals, and she's like, where's the visuals? Anyway, sorry, I don't know why I'm talking.
Well, yes, I'm channeling my inner Beyonce. This is great. Or my inner Maya Rudolph as Beyonce. I don't know. That's now breaking my brain. So yeah, I was really immediately pulled in by the visuals because I'm a sucker for graphics. If the graphics look good, I'm like, give me more. I want it. Give it to me. I don't care about gameplay. But then, a lot of times you can't polish a turd, right? Some games, the graphics are just, really good, but they're shit gameplay. Yeah. Thankfully, that wasn't the case for this game. I think, overall, as you say, story, like amazing. Like it kept drawing me in. I wanted to know more. I wanted to see what else Hazel was going to discover on her journey and the people she was going to bump into. And then, the sort of the elements of that make it a video game, I started to kind of wane on me and kind of go like, okay, I'll do it only because I want to like see the story and I want to beat this game. But yeah, I think it's in some ways it's trying a lot of really awesome things, and then in other ways it plays it safe. So I still don't. I've loved my time with it. I still don't know what score I want to give it. So I think that's through this conversation. I think that's going to help me like figure it out because it's good to kind of deconstruct it because emotionally I absolutely love it, but then also like.
I mean, we could break it down like
critically,
score as in like music and audio score, visual score, gameplay score, stuff like story score. So, and then do an average of that, and then it's exactly what it should be. So
you're mathing all on my face right now. Max, all right. What's that like? What's that? That little like mathy thing that comes on. Like,
yeah, that Brazilian actress. She's like,
yeah, that's the one. Love that meme. Gosh, the internet, when the internet does the internet well, is the best thing.
It is.
So where do you want to start? Where do you want to kick off to jump into this, Mike?
Oh.
What do you think? You want to start with characters?
Yeah, let's start with the world building, like the story,
cool.
like how the story starts, and we'll move from there, I think, because that's the most important part.
Yeah. So in terms of the story, I think the kind of like expose of this is effectively you are playing as Hazel Flood, right? And she's our protagonist.
By the way, not creative in the last name, guys. Like, come on now. It takes place during like a catastrophic storm that carries houses away. And so, come on, you're going to name her last name's Flood. Okay. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I could see that. I think
also, though, I did like it. I was like, okay, it's funny. I get it. It's not funny, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to think of like some like children's stories. It's almost like Joan the baker is the person who makes all the bread. It's a little bit like that, right?
Yeah, Joan Baker.
Yeah, Bobby the shoemaker. Whatever. It's like it's a little bit on the nose, but it's kind of cute as well. I'm not like it's not like a deal breaker. Hazel. It's the story about Hazel Flood, her mom Lacey, and her grandmother Bunny Flood, and it's the start of the story. This isn't, I mean, it's all spoilers on the Spoilercast. I don't have to say that. Start of the story. There's a big hurricane coming, and Hazel is waiting for her mom to come home so they can grab their stuff and then go and take shelter. And then really quickly, the flood takes over, and Lacey and the house gets swept down the river, and that's what really kickstarts the whole story for Hazel going on this adventure trying to save her mom.
And she's a track star as well in school.
Yeah.
And so she's running after the house and trying to like catch up to her mom. And I don't know what she's going to do when she gets to the house, but you know how you kind of just don't know what you do in times of like stressful times like that and anxiety. I'm just gonna do what I can.
Yeah.
And so she just kicks in, and she doesn't she doesn't get to her mom in that moment. And
right.
And then but along the way she discovers these strands, and she's like, what are these things? Why am I seeing things? How did I get picked up out of that river and this and that? And then she slowly discovers that she's special. So
yeah, I think, so just around the initial theme that I think starts out before, the mom and Hazel get separated by the flood is really quickly getting into the story between those two about how they are, Hazel's a typical teenager. She's like, she'll challenge her mom on things, and they have it's not like they have a bad relationship, but they're like they're sort of combative at the time, right?
And so she's also annoyed that her mom's always at work. Her mom's a social worker, and she takes her job very seriously and tries to really help these kids. And so like she's annoyed that her mom's staying late at work when like she has her own family to take care of as well. Like you stop taking care of these other families, you have to take care of me. What about me? So and then before the house gets swept away, they get in a big fight, and then and then that's she's like, oh my god, I want to take back everything I've said. So
that that is such a heart like wrenching like story theme in stories where I'm like, like you always like
you just wanted to say goodbye.
You want to say goodbye, or like please don't let the fight be the last thing that like
exactly,
because at the end of the day,
because that will define your relationship in your mind if anything were to happen. And you'll live with it the rest of your life.
Exactly. And that's what really drives Hazel, not only because she's mad at her mom in the moment, but obviously they have a really good relationship, and she wants to go and save her. And I think the things that she discovers about her mom along the way, about why she's working so much, is a really cool aspect of this story. But we'll pick up on that as we go through. And then another kind of important element before we kind of start breaking down the story elements themselves is really early on we meet Bunny Flood, who is Hazel's grandmother. And it really starts to show. So Hazel and Lacey, live in the less affluent part of this fictional town of Prospero. set in this fictional America South kind of location. It's like a mixture of, you were saying beforehand, there's some Alabama in there, there's some New Orleans, there's probably some
Mississippi, Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. They've really kind of taken America South and that real, like, that part of America and kind of, you know, molded it into this wonderful fictional world. But really, you know, kind of infused it with all of those elements. So, you know, in a really like organic and authentic way. It's, you know, with a lot of love and care, right?
Exactly.
All of these locations are looked after in such an honest and thoughtful way, I thought. So yeah, Prospero, this like fictional town. Lacey and Hazel live on the less affluent part of town, right? On the poorer side of town.
Lives on top of the hill.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we find out that the Floods from her grandmother live on the top of the hill, but they're also like the town, like money people, right? Yeah, she's the matriarch of that wealthy family.
And Hazel's dad is dead.
And Hazel, that's
he
right.
had passed away when she was a child. So
yeah, and we get this sense that Lacey, Hazel's mom, and Bunny Flood don't really get on. That, you know, there's friction there. And
so Bunny's never had a relationship with Hazel.
Exactly.
So I mean, maybe in passing, it sounds like when her dad was alive, like they had she like the last time she saw her, even Bunny says like, "Hazel's that you?" And it's like she was just a child, and now she's like basically a young woman. So.
And I think, you know, I just want to pick up on this for a minute, because I think one of the interesting things that the team that wrote this did is, Hazel and Lacey are, you know, Black women, and, you know, Bunny and Hazel's dad are white people. And it starts to kind of allude to the challenges of race within this town, but it does it in a way that doesn't feel what am I trying to say?
I never felt like there was racism.
Yes, that's it.
Every character that Hazel encounters is basically white in this whole game, right? For the most part, other than like the folklore kind of, the lore-ish kind of characters, and but it was like, I was like, oh, there's all these white people in this game, and Hazel's mixed. You wouldn't be able to tell right away just looking at her, but like it's just, I'm kind of like, it's just very interesting because it's like, I feel like race wasn't an issue in this environment. But I feel like there was a little tension, maybe a little. It was always in the back of your mind, and through all you're playing the game. So I don't know.
And I think, you said that really well there, Mike. I think the game acknowledges that there are differences in you know, culture and race, and the challenges that, you know, we all know. You know, we don't have to explain.
Exactly.
People understand, but they manage it in a way that just it is what it is. And it's not about going down that route of racism or the systemic challenges that, you know, people of marginalized backgrounds may face or have faced, but really about well, this is the story about Hazel and Lacey and Bunny, and they happen to be an element of race that is a dynamic within this story. But it's not the key aspect of it. So I thought that was really well done, because they didn't shy away from it, but they also didn't linger on it, right? It was,
they didn't like put it in your face and shove it down your throat and all this stuff. They just let it exist and let you kind of internalize it. And I really did. I was like, oh, I thought it was in my mind all the time, but they never 100%. They never gave me like a definitive if Bunny. If Lacey, because Lacey and Bunny always had like they never liked each other, but they never said why. And all I assumed was because she was Black, marrying her white son. But then again, we find out later that she didn't even like her son. So like, you know, so I don't know why. So I like that they just let you kind of like figure it out like on your own. So
and I think for me that's really good writing, and you know, because it's not about them imposing a view on the participator of the art, like the player of the game, right? It's about us being allowed to think about, well, because right now, you know, conversations about race are so intense at the moment around the world, within the US specifically as well, right? Like, so you can't help but bring that into it, because that's, we're inundated with those conversations on a daily basis. But the writers really, allowed it to be more than that. And I think that, for me, really helped nail it out of the park with the story, because it allowed these people to be humans and not just archetypes of, of race challenges or race wars or anything like that. I thought it was fantastic, really well handled.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's kind of the premise, right? We've got the initial inciting incident, the flood comes, we lose Hazel in the flood along with the house. Lacey, thank you. Hazel then goes to ask Bunny for some help to find her mom, and it
as
is
like a last,
there
because she's the only option too. But Hazel also knows nothing about Bunny, really, and or why she's not allowed to ever see her, and this and that. So, but she goes to her, and and she discovers her powers there, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And so she ends up spending the night to get some help. And Bunny's like, the next day we'll let you know. But like, she wakes up and the room was locked. She's
locked in.
Yeah. Why was she locked in this room?
Well, because when she comes to me, she's like, you're going to think I'm crazy. She's talking to Bunny. Hazel's talking to Bunny. She's like, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm seeing these like strands, and I feel like I don't know if I hit my head or when I fell in the water or what, but I'm seeing these strands. And Bunny's like, strands. Like she knows what she's talking about. And then so you immediately believe, because you believe that maybe she has this power because it's passed on through like relative or bloodline, because Bunny is bloodline and Bunny knows about it. And then she finds, like, while she's at Bunny's house, she finds the tools of the weaver. I forgot what those are called, actually.
Hooks, like weaving hooks.
They're like weaving hooks, but they had a name and I forgot already. But they didn't make a big deal.
Oh, you mean in the game?
Yeah, they have a name for those hooks, the special ones. But they didn't. They said it like twice, so it's not like it's like a main thing. But she so she finds them there, and you're like wondering, she found them in Bunny's house, her grandmother's house. So her grandmother may have been a weaver as well. Like, you don't really know. And so so it's very interesting. But she gets out of the house, and Bunny's like looking off like at her, like, and it's kind of creepy, that look that she gives her while she's leaving like the gates of the flood mansion. And you're just like, okay.
Yeah, Bunny, like,
I was always unsettled by Bunny. At first she was very kind, like that, especially her housekeeper. Oh my god, she was like a creepy looking person. Anyway, especially with the stop motion, it did not help. But so Bunny comes in, and first I'm like, oh, she's kind of kind, and then you kind of feel like there's something going on here. There's something's not right.
Yeah. And I think one of the things to pick up on, just to help paint the picture for people who haven't seen this game, and this is the first time they're coming across it. I suspect anybody listening to this podcast is aware of it, but for those who don't know, the deliberate choice to kind of, so the graphics, they're like impressionistic painting style, right? And then they're animated with light impressionism, not like overly, but definitely it has a sense of impressionism to it. But all the characters are animated in a stop motion animation way. So, think of things like Nightmare Before Christmas, that kind of vibe.
It's not so much like Robot Chicken stop motion animation.
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
a little bit smoother than that, but it's very subtle, the stop motion.
Yes.
But I love it. I love it so much.
And I think that choice, specifically because a whole premise of this game is set on folklore from America South, which are stories, right? And there's this motif of a storybook, right? That's how they sort of put you on to the next chapter and the next chapter. So they really were thoughtful about going, okay, how are we going to make this feel like, stories from the way that storybooks can be drawn, and it really is brought to life. So it wasn't just like they went, oh, let's do a cool art style. They said, no, actually, we've got,
it's like a storybook come to life.
Yeah, exactly. So it all just really fits. It's all very, very organically like tied together, and it fits together. And I think that also is true of what you were talking about in terms of, the weavers and the sewing hooks, right? Because as Hazel discovers, and we go along in the journey with Hazel playing the game, she's like, what are these hooks? What are these, strands I'm seeing that kind of guide her along her path, showing her where to go. We discover that actually the whole conceit of the game that they've set it on is there is this tapestry of
grand
life.
tapestry.
Yeah, right. You go on. Tell me more about that, Mike. Yeah. So there's
I guess it's just one. I've heard of it before, and I don't remember where, when, why, or how. But there's a grand tapestry that is woven, and that is the world, and everybody's woven into this grand tapestry, and we're all connected somehow through like a huge quilt, basically.
Right.
And I guess a weaver is somebody who can, if there's like some stitching that's falling out, or a dropped stitch, or you would say, or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, so the weaver can go back in and fix that and like kind of mend wounds in this tapestry, patchwork it, I guess you'd say. And so the weaver has the power to kind of alter the tapestry, or just mend the tapestry, because you can't change what's happened, but you can kind of like help people move on. And that's what the weaver does, as what my understanding was. So, but yeah, it was just really beautiful how they explained it. And what I don't like is that you never know why Hazel is the weaver.
Yes.
Like, oh, you're the new weaver, and I'm just like, oh yeah, she is, and like, but why? And she's like, what's a weaver? I don't know what a weaver is, but I'm like, you don't know why, like, she's a weaver, and only thing I can compare it to is it like Buffy the Vampire Slayer? It's like, in every generation there's a chosen one. She alone will stand against the Haints and the demons and whatever of darkness. She is the Weaver. Like, is that just, it's just random? This one girl is chosen, and then boom, there's no explanation why she's the Weaver. So.
But that's the thing about storytelling. Like, all they needed to do was just say that, right?
Yeah.
There just needed to be that 1 minute in the story where they go,
or they just say, in every generation,
you have been chosen by the
one.
tapestry. You are now the Weaver. And we go, oh, okay, great.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right.
They never tell us why she's the Weaver.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right, actually, because she discovers the hooks, right, and then suddenly she can use them and wield their power. And like, and I love that they're hooks, because they're sewing hooks, right? So again, linked to the tapestry. Everything in this world is supposed to be there, right? It all fits so well, and that's why I love it. Like, I just think, like,
even the characters, like the catfish, for example, which maybe we'll get into too. But the catfish, the great storyteller, he, if you look at him, like his visuals of himself, he looks like he's patchwork as well.
Yeah.
Like he's like he's a quilt or something, and it's beautiful. I love him.
Totally.
He's giving me also like Chinese dragon vibes as well, but like,
okay,
like
cool.
I don't know, there's something with the style gives me like a Chinese catfish or something, that like I don't know, it just kind of, I like how they did it, but it was giving me a little Asian flair as well. But
yeah, they definitely pulled in inspiration. Like, I think all the stuff that, and when I was reading about this and writing the review, all of the folklore is based on true stuff, but they allowed themselves to take artistic license to make it work for video games and kind of evolve whatever that story may be.
It's
so
not,
I'm sure that's there.
They took everybody has lore, and everybody explains lore a little bit differently. And so, but they decided to take a certain path with it, and then, or made it their own even. So which I like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think so. Then that really opens up the game, right? So once Hazel realizes, and again, I agree with you, they should have said why, but once Hazel starts to understand, she goes, okay, I've got these powers. The whole journey is really about her going on self-discovery and a journey to understand and open her eyes to the world around her, right? Not everything is straightforward about her mom staying late at work, as we discover. Bunny's maybe not as evil as she may be, but yes, she is still evil, as we discover. And it's up to Hazel to use these powers, as you say, because the weavers can maintain the tapestry, because the evil that can rip through it. So the Haints and the the evil monsters and stuff. So, well, I think Haints are the manifest. So my version, and
I think we have the same.
Yeah, I think so. I think Haints are, and the Haints end up being all the things that you fight, like the evil that you have to battle.
They come in different shapes, forms, and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Haints are the manifestations of like trauma that get through the tapestry, right? And they infest people's minds in the areas that you have to go and clear. So each Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, for example, in Benji's story, which was a brother. What was the brother's name?
The one that turns into the tree?
Yeah. So
Oh,
he had a
no.
brother. His brother wasn't really. His brother was kind to him at first, but Benji was special. He was a little different. I would say maybe autistic, but he wasn't quote unquote normal to everybody else in this world. And so he was bullied. He was picked on to the point where Benji's brother eventually was just like picked on him as well. And then like there was one scene that was really graphic, and that was, well, I mean, to me it was, and it was like Benji's brother was freeing Benji out of a bear trap that was set for him because there's no bears in this area. So that is what the story says. And I was like, oh my god, like that's awful. And Hazel herself was like, oh my god, that's awful, because she can see the past. Like when she defeats a group of Haints or whatever, she can then unlock into like a story of what this past trauma is, and she heals it by like bottling it up in these bottles. Like I've seen bottle trees before, and I never knew what they were for, and now I kind of understand what bottle trees are. But she bottles up the past, and then just kind of heals the wound. And so but yeah, I was gonna say with Benji, for example, like he went through a lot of trauma, and then his brother like nails him inside of a tree, and then Benji becomes the tree, and then so on and so forth. And so like she has to like bottle it up and then free Benji's basically spirit in a way. So he'll still be there, but now Benji is no longer holding on to this pain, which Benji's also holding on to the catfish, which she's trying to release the catfish as well. So
exactly,
huge catfish, by the way.
Huge, massive. Love him. And one of the things to pick up on there that I think this game that I wasn't expecting, but I really, really valued. Something that this game does that other games don't do is the story was really didn't pull its punches in terms of the trauma and the things that people go through, right? And I think it even says before you start, they're like, this game talks about trauma and loss and all those things, so it does give a little bit of a trigger warning. But I kind of went, oh, okay, whatever, and then I just was pushing play. And then when it started to kind of unravel, pun intended, when I started to unravel the story, I was really kind of moved. Not kind of. I was definitely moved by it, and it was like really. Some of it was really hard to process. Like, these are based on folklore, but probably as we know, folklore is based on stories passed down through the ages, and it probably based on true stuff. And so thinking about the fact that this Benji's brother had to go through all these horrible things just because either he wasn't like the other kids, right? He was different, right? And like, I mean, come on, we can identify with that as gay men, right? We've been through moments of that at some point, maybe obviously not in the way that this character did in this story, but you start to relate to it in a way. You go, gosh, yeah, I've definitely been bullied, or I've definitely been picked on, or then when Hazel does fight the Haints and clear that, like, I think she suddenly discovers her purpose, I think, and I feel
it's
like
more than just trying to look. So the whole time she's looking for her mama.
Yeah,
it's more than trying to find her mom. She has to mend all these wounds along the way, and then I think that the fact that she's mending these wounds and having empathy for these creatures now, I guess, or past people, it helps her realize, like, it helps her in the end, it helps her like become close to her mother. But it's like, it's just there's more than just your little world and your basic where you grew up, and more than I can't even explain it, but there's more. That's what all it is. And she's trying to figure it out, and she discovers it along the way. And that, because there's one point where she's like, "Oh man, I gotta do all this other stuff. I just want to get to my mama." But in order to get to her mother, she has to go through these challenges first, because then she doesn't know where her mother is, and it makes sense when you're playing it. So
yeah, it really is. It's beautiful and well handled from the story perspective. And then just kind of dipping into a little bit on the gameplay, because this is a loop that happens. So, every chapter is not every chapter, but for the most part, every chapter you are helping someone through their trauma by going around and going around the area, finding 3 or 4 different places where haints have infested. You battle the haints, and then you and haints, and then there's what's the stuff that's everywhere?
The fog?
No, not the fog.
Oh, it's the great. The
stigma.
Stigma. The stigma.
Great term for it, by the way, stigma.
The stigma.
So you discover areas where stigma, and think of like the blight that's in
and Breath of the Wild.
No,
or
Breath
Tears
of the
Kingdom.
No, is Tears of the Kingdom blight? No,
it's in Breath of the Wild as well.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
no, it's blight. A different name though.
Oh.
It's called, because blight is from, unless I'm getting my.
But it was a blight monster you had to fight or whatever. The blight
was it
demon,
a blight monster?
And blight this and blight that.
Okay, right. Okay, well then there's a couple games that use blight, because Dragon Age Inquisition has blight everywhere.
Google, help me out here.
Yeah, so stigma basically is this growth that's all over the area that you're trying to cure. Because that's where the source of the rip and the tapestry is, effectively where these haints are coming through and infesting the world, and infecting people with the stigma, with their kind of trauma that they go through.
So just really quick, in Breath of the Wild, the blights were originally like a ball of malice, which corrupted champions, turning them into the blights and then killing them and stuff. So,
got it. Okay, so
malice you did deal with blights.
Yes. Okay. Great.
And then also in Tears of the Kingdom, there was that dark area you couldn't really stand in long because you would die. So it looked similar to that. It was like that red stuff. So
yeah, which is another thing about this game, where it borrows quite a lot from things.
Okay,
but you know what I mean. Like if a lot of the gameplay,
did other games borrow from the lore of that? So
no, I would say that this game, but that's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem, but I would say that's something whereas if you've played a lot of games, you go, oh, I've seen this before. I know what they're doing, right? But again,
well, same in Bayonetta 3, there was that area you'd walk into, and then you were like, oh, I can't be here long, and then you just kind of like die or restart where you were. So it's like the fog, the bad part.
Yeah. So there's some stigma'd area that you got to clear, right?
Exactly.
So as you go into each chapter has areas of stigma that you need to clear by killing all the haints, and then destroying the place in which they're the rip or the tear or the thing that's allowing them to come into the world. And then by doing that, you heal the kind of core character of that chapter, right? In some way, shape, or form. And then Hazel can then kind of move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. And I think this is the point we were raising earlier when we were thinking about the overview, is for the first few times I thought that was fun, but then and
then they introduced a new style of haint, like it has different battle mechanics and whatnot. And I was like, okay, well that's good, that's cool. And then you get like new powers and new moves. I'm like, okay, cool, that's cool. Yeah. But then again, I was like getting kind of bored with the battles. Although I did feel like a badass when I put my little weaver hook into the haint and ripped it out. And that was my favorite part. I was so satisfied every time you just unravel them. It was so good.
Yeah,
exactly. But other than that, though, I was like, it was just tedious and became a chore. At one point, I was like, oh, okay, I got to battle this little area out just to get to the story. I was just playing but the thing is, the story was so good that I wanted to play, I wanted to beat it so I can continue the story. So I said, I need to know how this ends. So
yeah, totally agree. All of that, perfectly said, Mike. That was me too. I was like, okay, I'll do this again because it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
And as you say, they allow it to take different shapes, like so in your skill tree, you for Hazel, you can go around and find Floof. What a cute name, by the way.
Floof. It just looks like magical balls of like mystical
yarn
things
and stuff. Oh, it's like I want Floof everywhere. I just want Floof. What a name, what a word.
Just going to collect Floof and then spending your Floof to get new powers.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not a complicated skill tree, which I loved. I really like that about it.
Wasn't.
When things get overly complicated.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And I still had Floof. I still had Floof left over. I was like, what do I do with this extra Floof?
So, you got extra Floof? I want extra Floof.
It had extra, you can fill up all your skill tree and then you still have Floof. So
amazing. Yeah, so there are ways to kind of make the fighting more dynamic, but then again, by the time I got to the end with this loop of finding haints, and then even with all the different type of haints that they introduced, I had found an attack pattern that I could do that made it so easy, and I could even really big difficult haints. I was like, oh, I know how to do this set of moves with all the skills I've learned.
I like to weave them first, like to get them like bonded, and then I would beat them up, and then when they come, like the big ones, and then I would send little Crouton on into them, and then I would beat them up, and then they would die. So
yeah, exactly. So then so not only did it become a chore, but it didn't really give you that much of a challenge. The only challenge
is that what I was excited for was the boss battles. I was like, okay, this is different. This is completely different. So I really enjoyed that. And there were typical boss battles too. Like for example, Two-Toed Tom, the alligator. And which, by the way, is based on something real as well. Not real, but folklore. Two-Toed Tom is an actual thing. So alligator, I guess. But anyway, so like one thing with this boss battle was, it was typical, like you, which is fine. Like you kind of dodge him. He has his attack sequence. You got to dodge it all, and then there's one part where he becomes vulnerable, and you ring a bell, and then he faints. Because he just passes out, and then that's the part you have to hit his tongue, and then you for a certain time before you have to get away before he like wakes up, and so it was. And it's just like in Mario, you had to like jump on them 3 times before they die. So you have to do this 3 times before they die. And then, or not die, but like before it gets, reset or whatever. And and I really thought it was cool. I really enjoyed that because it was a new mechanic, and I was like, okay, great. I'm not dealing with these stupid haints anymore. So
exactly. Yeah, I loved the boss battles. I thought they were all so fun.
Were really good.
They were super good,
and they were each of them were unique as well.
Yes, 100%. And what, like, let's pick up on the Two-Toed Tom one for a minute. Like that, like
it was epic,
so epic, and it was so big
good.
In scale. Like so Two-Toed Tom, he
looks like an island. He looks like an island in the middle of a lake, and he has trees growing on the back of him, and then it moves, and it's really just this massive alligator.
Yeah, and like so. Just thinking about why he became this massive alligator, though, is so fucking dark,
story.
Isn't it?
It's so dark.
Yeah. It was Preacher Jolene?
Preacher Jolene. This is why she became a preacher, to try to like maybe atone for her craziness.
Dark
she wasn't really that crazy. It was dark, but also like she had a
she had a
moment where she was like, you know what? She acted out of rage, and she So long story short, her father was her father, right?
I think so, or husband. Maybe it was.
I'm pretty sure it was
husband,
her father.
Okay,
but he had a pet alligator named Tom, and he wouldn't feed Tom, and to like I don't know why it was common for people not to feed their children or Tom. They said Tom and children, by the way, because it was like you don't feed them when they misbehaved, or just kind of like train them to like
Oh, I see.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so,
if you've been bad, withhold food
and whatnot.
Okay.
But with Tom, though, it was more of like he was making him, I don't know, just training his alligator to only know when to eat, and to know when to eat was with the bell. And so he would ring the bell, and then he would feed him. And then I guess it was maybe just to kind of tame the alligator. I don't know if this is a real thing or not, but and then but Jolene is always they were always button heads, and the father or the male figure and Jolene were button heads, and then I forgot why, but he
wasn't. He was really mean to her. I think he did something really awful to her specifically, or one of the characters in the folklore of the story. That and to you could see where this is going.
So the dad was asleep and sleeping next to Tom. I don't know why he was sleeping next to his alligator, but
you do.
You do. And Jolene just creeps up with that big booty, by the way. Like I was like, damn, she got some
juicy
back there.
Juicy booty. Yeah.
I was like,
come on,
really
Jolene. And that big Farrah Fawcett hair that she had.
Farrah Fawcett hair. And,
do me a favor.
And a big cowboy hat. And she had the jeans that were give it a little apple bottom.
Oh.
I was just looking. I was like, this is really good animation.
Yep.
I'm a gay man, but I really am enjoying this booty. So
aesthetically can appreciate it, and I need to see I need to see one of the queens walk down the runway as on RuPaul's Drag Race as her. Like I am serving Jolene from South of Midnight real
give a better face, because that face was awful. stop motion did not help
her.
her. But yeah, and maybe this was a long time ago, obviously. So she was probably a good looker in her days. But anyway, she goes up, she rings the bell, and then Tom just devours the dad. And then she sets Tom free because, as one does, they set alligators free.
Well, he was in a swamp. I mean, I guess.
Yes, you should.
Right?
But this alligator is like specifically like pretty dangerous at this point because it's starving. It does, and it discovers the pig farm and eats all. And by the way, that pig farm was disgusting. But
yeah, because Jolene and the family owned a pig farm. That's right. Yes. Didn't discover it. It was on the land, right?
Well, the alligator discovers that they had a pig farm, and now he's like, I had all you can eat access this whole time. Yeah. So he eats and eats and eats, and he gets ginormous, and he is now an alligator, size of an island.
Yeah,
and little old Hazel kicks his ass. So
absolutely, and then so you
why he's called Two-Toed Tom, by the way? He's so hungry because he was withholding food that he ate part of his toes.
I see.
And that's why he only had 2 toes, because he was eating himself to kind of it's sad.
And then in the last part of the fight, so you think the battle's over with Two-Toed Tom.
Yeah.
And then this game is fucking great. Like Two-Toed Tom swallows you up and you're like inside the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
A la, Noah's Ark and Jonah and the Whale, right? That kind of vibe. And then you have to like platform and traverse your way through, and then you discover. And this is one of the things that I love metaphorically about this game, that deep inside of these characters is where the trauma really is. It lies.
And you have to literally go in there with Two-Toed Tom.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got to like inside of him, you go and like destroy this trauma.
And unravel the knot.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what they use. They always say unravel the knot. So
yeah. Yeah. And then he spits you out, obviously. And because he ate the house, right? Because it's a point where he ate the house, and Hazel thinks her mom's in the house
inside, but she's not
inside, but she's not. But there was other like people in there and things in there and stuff like that.
The pig. Remember the pig?
Yes, yeah, just swimming around. I mean, it's so
and I
funny.
did love that scene because the pig did get out. So earlier in the game, you're trying to help this pig out of the water because he's squealing and it's in a tire that's like going around. She's like, you got to be quiet, little one. The Two-Toed Tom's going to get you. And so she tries to pull it out of the water, and then Two-Toed Tom, sure enough, eats it. And then at the end, like he spits it out, and then the pig kind of like is there to give her comfort, but then the catfish comes and this pig runs away. He gets super scared. So.
Yeah. It's like, even within the moments of this game talking about trauma and loss and grief and all that, they still find really good, clever moments to be funny. And I think that is just so nice. And also, just silly, right? Because at the end of the day, we are playing a video game, and they recognize that. But then
we're all geeks here.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I think boss battle's great. I think I want to talk about Hug and Molly as well in a little bit. I also want to talk about the... Do you?
You just feel, I love the platform. I feel like a badass. Like I would just like jump, and I would, especially when I was crossing like the waterfall with the planks coming by, which would go to get to the Rougarou, to get to Laurent. And I was just like, I was platforming onto there, and then I had to like double jump, and then I had to like use my little weaving, my little my paragliding again.
Your paraglider.
This is like gonna live with me for the rest of my life. I want to paraglide, please. I want it to be a real thing.
Well, you can sew, Mike. You're a sewer. Why don't you get yourself a paraglider and paraglide down on McDonald's?
Because I don't want to die. So. But no, paragliding is just so satisfying, and so I really enjoyed jumping and jumping and jumping, and the platforming though is like. Although I was like, oh my God, am I going to land on that little small branch? And I did. And I was like, oh, okay. But I always felt like, I think the game kind of just knew where you wanted to go and kind of just put you there sometimes. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for the most part, it was good. I think. And, again, organically, like using the hooks to create like weave a parachute, when she jumps and gets
or
that.
to do the grappling thing. I really felt like a badass with the grappling too. But.
Yeah, so you get special moves, like you learn to parachute, which is just basically a little bit longer. But it's not like the Legend of Zelda parachute where you can go for miles and miles. It's just a little bit more of like a little short one. You've got the grappling hook. You can also pull it towards you,
pull things towards you,
push things away. You then learn like the side wall
that also made me
run.
feel like a badass.
Yeah,
It's like the weave
parkour
run. Like
stuff. Yeah,
she's like holding on with her little weaving hooks onto the wall.
exactly.
Only select areas, and then you just kind of
Yeah.
run across it, and you have to dodge sometimes some thorns or whatever. What do they call it?
Mm-hmm.
Bramble.
Bramble. Yeah, there was bramble there. I
Yeah.
fucking hated the bramble.
Oh.
Then there was also what else was there? Then later on you learn to fly within the wind tunnels that you
Mm-hmm.
discover, which I thought that was a pretty cool mechanic. That one I
Yeah.
really enjoyed doing. But I think, and this is one of the biggest problems I had. We're jumping around here a little bit, but one of the biggest problems I had with the last fight, the boss battle of I can't remember the boss's name, but he was basically the god of nightmares or whatever, right?
Kafui. Oh man, I don't remember now. Something
Yeah.
with a K.
Yeah. Is that the most of the time the platforming was fine, but they really got the sort of end part of. So with the last boss, basically, you are fighting hordes of enemies. And by the way, I hate horde battles. I think that's so dumb when games do that at the end, where you just have to go
So
through them
that
over
was
and over again.
the last boss battle was the worst boss battle
Hated
because
it. I
you
absolutely
are
hated
now doing what you've been doing the whole game is killing Haints, and
Yeah.
now you just have to kill more Haints.
Yeah, like
Over and over
rounds of it.
again.
Yeah, it's so
And
boring.
then
Why you're dodging
the
these like
boss battle was like, oh, you just got to dodge him for 3 tries, and then
Yeah.
there was no. But the thing is, they did say you can't kill this thing. You can bottle him up for a bit, but you can never
Sure.
kill him. So
Yeah.
like there was nothing to fight really. So I guess you fighting his Haints, but also I'm like, they could have made that boss battle better. That last boss battle felt a little lazy with the mechanic, where all
100%
the other
agree.
ones were really good. So
Yeah, and then they asked you, so you're in this like arena, right? And then the last boss unleashes all these haints that you have to kill, and then there's a moment where you have to like do some really like precision platforming, the wall run, then turning into a paraglider, then to another wall run to do a thing like to do a double jump. And I died more on that bit of platforming because it wasn't executed well, and the camera angle kind of got wrong.
Camera angle, sometimes I had trouble with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I almost to the point where I quit. I was almost like, this is fucking bullshit. I hate this boss fight. I don't care. This platforming is shit. And I was like, no, but I really like this story and I want to see this through. So I just buckled down and I got good, right? And I did better, and then I finally did it. Right?
There is a part where you do get good. You have to get good. Yeah. So because it's just you need to learn to hit the right button. Basically, sometimes I would jump instead when I wanted to do something else. I was like, no, I didn't mean to do that. And especially when I was on the climbing the walls and stuff, I would accidentally drop down when I wanted to jump, or I'd actually jump when I wanted to drop down. So.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem with Xbox controller. With me playing Switch so much, I'm so used to the B button being opposite of.
Yeah.
So that kind of messes me up sometimes.
If you're new to that one, then that's because I've been playing Xbox for quite a while, so I can switch.
Switching in my mind is hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like driving on the other side of the road a little bit, right? You kind of go like, oh, I'm doing this now or whatever.
But
right?
also, I don't want to switch how the controls are set up because I'll be like, well, that button, I said, but I like it there now. And that's so I was like, no, I'll play how they natively want me to play it. So
Yeah. And I think, I mean, it was a big letdown. I have to say that last boss fight, I thought it just, like you said, it was lazy. I couldn't say it any better. I mean, it was just that, but I appreciate the structure they were working in because as you said, like you can't kill this boss or whatever, right? You can't kill this entity. You can only kind of slow him down or stop it or whatever it is for a little bit. And they do well to bake that into the story. So, I give it a pass because they did so well about baking everything into the story. It just, it worked. But, who knows? Maybe for South of Midnight 2, they can come up with something, a bit more interesting.
And not hold your hand so much either. Like,
the hand
say more about that. The hand holding was my worst. My biggest critique of this. Maybe there could have been an option, like if you chose. I played on the Weaver mode, like the traditional normal mode.
Yeah, me too.
But like if I wanted to play on the easy mode, I don't know what they called it, but like maybe that could be the one where she gives you more vocal cues. Like for example, all you had to do was down press on the right joystick, and it would show like a strand of weave or whatever it is, strand of weave, not like hair weave, but like string weave, like yarn. Like then you have to follow that, and it shows you to where you need to go to your next objective.
Right.
For like somebody who's never played games before or anything, like this is great because it's I just follow the path. And yes, you can venture off that path to find secrets or hidden floofs and whatnot. But the problem is that just became too easy for me. I was like, okay, well, I don't have to hit it, yes, but it's there, so I'm gonna hit it. But, not just that, like you would get to a new area and there's some problem solving that needs to be done to figure out how to get over to where you need to go to. But before you even get a chance to even start to think about the problem solving, Hazel's like, oh, I can use that thing over there to jump over it. And I'm like, oh. Like, bitch, I was gonna figure this out. Why are you telling me? I was like, give me a second. I was like, I can figure this out. And everything that you can use your abilities on always is glowing. And so like, I feel like if you just kind of didn't do that, then maybe did that in the beginning and then kind of take it away as I went further into the game, I would have figured, I could figure it out my own. But I just felt like this game, the reason why Xbox puts on there you can finish it in 9 to 12 hours is because if you really want to, you could just follow the path the whole way and then get done. Like you can finish it. And you never really need your abilities other than during your platforming parts. But like in the battles, you can literally just hit them the whole time and you can then dodge. And you don't need your abilities to kill the bosses, basically. Except for Pug and Molly, you did need to throw stuff, your grappling hook. But
but they give you that. That's not something you have to upgrade, right? That's something that they just kind of give you. So it's as that. And I think I absolutely agree with you. It does hold your hand. I was less bothered by that personally, and I think a little bit maybe because and as I said in my review, a little bit because of a tiny bit of open world fatigue where you just go everywhere and discover things.
But this wasn't really open.
No,
it's very linear.
Yeah, it's like open zone kind of thing, right?
Maybe
not even. It's definitely more. It's
linear
on
with
rails,
maybe
right?
like a hallway here, and then
exactly where you say you go and find your floof or something.
And then honestly, like to find, if you wanted 100, the reason why I couldn't 100% it at first, and why I had to go back and finish and find things, is because those notes were the most hidden things. We're finding the notes, the collectibles, like the story. Like you'll pick up pieces of paper just to read about what was going on in this area.
Yeah, fills you in on the chapter.
Fills you in a little bit more in depth on the lore and whatnot. But the thing is, like, to find a floof, like, oh, there's the strand is telling me to go this way, but then look at there's this wide open over here. So if I walk over here, oh, there's a floof. Who would have known, right? Who would have known? So I was like,
but there was something a little bit like, maybe this is the thing about games, right? You come to a game and sometimes where you are at the moment in your life with like your how much time you have or whatever, I don't know.
So you were appreciative of this because you're like, I can finish this quickly.
Exactly, right? I was like, I know what I need to do. This is really quick.
Like,
and if
I
in
2 days, I think.
I did. And I think in the review, like we were talking about this, I think in my review I said like 30 hours. Maybe it wasn't 30. I think it was probably like 20. I think maybe it was like around
maybe
20.
Maybe to 100% it, because I'm pretty sure I finished it in about 9 to 10 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Like finish the game. But then when I went back to get the rest of the collectibles and stuff, I probably put another 8 hours into it. It's because I was like, okay, I had to go through each chapter again and find everything I missed. And one time, there's one part where I missed the one thing I needed. There was like one more tin flip I had to do. You know those tins on the ground you had to flip over to get little like 5 floofs or whatever?
Yeah.
And I saw the tin, but I went into this door, and then the door closed behind me, and I couldn't go back.
No!
So I had to, and I was like in the middle of the chapter, so I had to restart the chapter just to go back and get that freaking tin flip. But yes, I 100% did. I'm so happy.
And I mean, I will not go back and 100% it. That's not me.
Like,
sidebar. I'm not 100%er. I mean, I think the biggest achievement I had in a long time was like I got all of the shrines in Breath of the Wild, and I was like, I've achieved. Like I'm not on time for that. Like once I kind of complete the kind of main mission of a game, I'm like, I'm done. What's the next one?
When I finally got all my Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild, I haven't 100%ed Tears of the Kingdom.
You did every Korok seed?
Well, I mean, I had a guide with me, so telling me where to go. I wouldn't do it on my own.
Mike,
that's impossible. So I just read how to do it, and I was like, okay, next one. So I put my phone right next to me, like next one, and
Well, now on the app, sidebar, not this is
Yeah.
Zelda, but now on the phone app, it shows you. You can
You can
it'll
just,
tell you
yeah.
where to
I
go.
was like, where
Anyways,
was this? Where
yeah,
was this when I was 100%ing Breath of, well, I don't even know if I 100% Breath of the Wild, but 100% the Korok seeds at
yeah,
least. So, I mean, I got
yeah.
all the shrines. I did the master quest. I guess I did 100%.
You can check. There's that percentage thing on the map
Oh
menu. It
yeah.
tells you at the
I
bottom.
haven't opened up that game in so long. I need to, other than
Don't. I
just
would.
looking at it in the Switch too, but I need to, I do need to go in and play it again. So
I would love for you to open the map and it says 97%, and then for you to have to know what you're gonna find because it'll be so hard. Yes. Anyways, yeah. So I guess I think it didn't bother me as much. The whole
holding the hand.
holding the hand. I was kind of fine with it, and I think the only thing that really stood out for me was just in terms of kind of negatives was the battle system, right? Because you would go down the world, you would explore the world, and it was nice looking at. It was so beautiful, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to go into this battle area because you would only fight Haints and
And then
really
like an arena
walled
area.
areas, an arena. So they never really jumped out at you. They never really surprised you. There was never really any kind of impromptu battle, which was great.
And there was no like creeping around a corner to see what's what's to come.
No, it was very clearly you were walking into
However,
a battle.
my version of the game, it would have been Haints would have been just kind of like in Breath of the Wild. Of course, I'm always compare everything to Zelda, but they're just kind of roaming back and forth and down one side of the street over here or in the forest over here. A couple surprises when you open a door and there's a Haint.
Totally.
That would have been my version of the game because that would have just added more kept me on my toes,
Yeah.
And instead of now, after the first two or three chapters, I was like, okay, so I know nothing's going to come out after me.
Exactly.
However, the music in this game, when the Rougarou, when you had to go battle Laurent and the owl.
Yes.
So it was the whole time. It was because you heard what she was like. What's a Rougarou? And then the song is like Rougarou, Rougarou in your ear constantly.
Yeah.
And then so I wear headphones when I play, so I would hear I was like, I know nothing's going to jump out at me.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking around oh my God, just freaking me out. So it did give me the creeps. So the Wiggins is what I would say.
Yeah, it is really, it was really well done in terms of the music to really create that atmosphere. And another thing that a lot of video games don't do, or this one did something different though, is, as you were going towards an area either clear something or no, it was when you were about to fight bosses like Two-Toed Tom or Hug and Molly or the Rougarou. There was a full song sung by a singer.
Yes.
That was about the story of that boss that you were on your way to fight. So it was actually just filling in more and more of the story through song, which is so perfect because that's how folklore is told a lot of times, right? It's through music and singing and stuff. Yeah.
And then the one with Ayutunde when you're in the boat and then that monster area with Honey, the cute little wood monster
Swamp
looking
kid
thing, Swamp
or whatever.
Kid.
Yeah.
And then you have that evil mermaid looking thing, but which is Ayutunde, which is the mom, and the song that you hearing the song while you're helping Honey, and then all of a sudden the swamp monster is singing the song. I thought that was really cool. So
yes,
I was like, oh my gosh, she's singing it to Honey, and then they go happy along the way. But you're just helping. You are fixing the world, is what you're doing as a weaver.
Yeah, and I think the designers of the game were brave enough. So when the first time this happens is going back to the chapter, I think it's chapter 3 when you're trying to get the catfish. What's the catfish's name again? I can't remember.
Catfish, I think.
It's just catfish. Yeah.
Yeah, because
when you're trying to get them.
Yeah, I love my favorite part is when she walks in and it's like that cut scene, and she's like, "A talking catfish." A talking catfish.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, exactly.
And he's the only one that really has that Creole voice, like that New Orleans Creole, or the swamp, like a swampy area. I don't know, like the wetlands of Louisiana, like that voice. And and I love it. I love it so much. And that whole area too was really cool. Like it was people live like that in the bayou, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And just really cool. I just really enjoyed the look of it, and she even was like, "I can't believe people live like this, and what they're going through, and all these eviction notice, and all the greediness of the property landowners or whatever." So it was just, and that's another thing we need to get into is like the stuff it the tropes and the things that are like the things that they talk about and in this story, like slavery and just people not getting a fair
Poverty and
chance and poverty and wages and stuff. So they hit everything and they do it well. So
yeah, absolutely. I think I just want to round out the point about the singing of the music real quick. And I think that picking up on the tropes is really, really it's super important. Like so so in that first store, in the first time you come across this is the one who was the kid that was put in the tree that we were talking about earlier, and his brother
Benji.
Benji, yeah. It's so the brother was put into this tree, and then there's this big beautiful tree in the swamp that you have to start traversing up, but the designers deliberately made your traversal up the tree make you listen to the whole song and look at the visuals, right? So what was supposed to what could be a really like it's an awful story, but they find beauty in the world around them, not only because they want to show off how fucking good the game looks, I'm sure, but then equally because they're like, no, take your time traversing, doing platform up this tree, but listen to these words. There was no combat, there was no battling. It was just your job was to listen to the music, and it was such a good choice, I thought.
Yeah, that song to me was when I first heard it, I was like, this song is funny because he's like, and Benji was his name or whatever.
Yeah,
and I was like, but that was probably the silliest song out of them all. Although it was like, I killed my brother, and I was like, okay, the song is silly, but then again, I was like, I'm really enjoying it after like a And what I like too is when you're traversing the tree like a squirrel, like crawling, going up everywhere and just trying to get to the top of the tree. Like, even if you stopped, the song wouldn't continue the story until you got into the area. It would repeat itself, like, or just play like the rhythmic part of it.
Yes.
And then when you got into the next area, it would start singing the rest of the song and like the next verse. And I was like, oh my God, how did they do that for one?
It's
like,
so good.
And how did they go into it so seamlessly? Like, like you can make this song as long as you want, really, if you just want to stay sitting in this one part of the tree. So I thought that was really cool.
Really, really cool. And just another effective way of telling story through an organic way, right? Like this is just how people would have done. They would have sat around a fire and sung these songs and passed these stories on. And going back to the tropes or the themes that were in this, I thought you're absolutely right. Like, gosh, that particular story with Benji was all about poverty and rent being raised on families and work not being able to be had, so they're being evicted, but the man doesn't care, whoever the man is. They're just the bank coming after their whatever's due to them without ever really understanding how this is impacting the local people. And then Laurent, his story of the Rougarou, right? Like demolishing this whole mining town, and then because the owner of the mine was making his people work harder, making them come in, like do extra hours and not paying them more. And these were all in the notes you were finding, right? It was like them like being really blatantly honest of going like effectively like, not paying your workers, treating them like slaves.
And then when his mama just needed some help to go to the hospital, they denied him as he drives away in his Rolls Royce or whatever.
Exactly.
And he's just like he's like that money wouldn't have cost her, or Hazel's like that money wouldn't have cost them
nothing.
He wouldn't have felt that at all, and his mom could still be here today if she would have got the help she needed or the care she needed. And I was like, yeah, it's true. Like there was no like no love or kindness. It's just like you are a number, and you are making my numbers go higher. So
and it allows. So then specifically with the Laurent story, there is these things that happen to his mother and the actions that he saw his father take because he couldn't save his mother. He became an alcoholic, and he was turning to the bottle, and he was in this vicious cycle of being trapped and working for this owner of a mine who wouldn't pay them in money, but would just pay them in like credits to live in that town and continue to work. So you're like trapped in this cycle. And then he eventually lashes out because he has no way to kind of break out of these things. And, goes to, shout at the owner, and then the owner shoots him with a gun because he thought he was going to be attacked by him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Laurent, like, bless his heart,
He's a
all that
child.
internal rage, he's a child, and all that internal rage then transforms him into this big, massive owl, bird of prey, raptor kind of like,
the Rougarou.
The Rougarou, right? And you suddenly go
it's
like,
so good.
So good. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know if I've played a video game, and if I have, I can't remember, where such honest, true stories where you go like, well, of course I know why you're behaving this way right now and why you've turned into this, but like really allowing that rage to then manifest into these big characters, these big bosses, these big, what's quote unquote evil, but actually they're not. They are just victims of their environment. And the only thing they can do is lash out in this way and turn into a different form. Because when you break that metaphor down, trauma, like, we all hold trauma in our bodies and in our own unique ways, and it can really affect our bodies. It can really affect how we show up in the world. It can turn us into different people, right? I mean, I'm sure we've all been affected by someone in our lives who is the life and soul of the party, but then they go through something and suddenly they're a different animal, they're a different beast. And that trauma just, it's such a good metaphor and so well executed in this game that I was feeling it the whole time. And I felt bad for these people, and I wanted to save them, right? And I wanted Hazel to get in there and release them from the pain that they were going through. It's just so good. So good. So good.
It was good.
Yeah,
I
really good.
100% agree.
Yeah.
It's so like, that's just, I wanted to help.
Mm-hmm. What other chapters really stood out for you? What other
other than
things?
the Ayutunde one? So before Mahalia, I think her name was the weaver, the previous weaver, the past weaver who was helping the slaves escape. The ghost.
Yes, you would see her spirit.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
going.
you were just kind of following her and like, oh, that's the other weaver. That's the weaver of, and she kind of, you would see her ghost do things, and then Hazel's like, "Can I do that?" And
Yeah, it
so
was a little bit of like a
learned
sort of
like she could double
training thing,
jump,
right?
or she could pull something with it. She can wall ride, and she learned that through these by watching Mahalia, the ghost of the past, like do it. And she's like, "Oh, I had these powers in me the whole time. I didn't realize like I can do this." So but yeah, Mahalia's story was interesting because she started a community like of like free slaves, and it was in like a magical like swamp jungle area, forest area. And so that's why Ayutunde's story kind of stuck out to me. She was working on one of the boats,
the river boats,
and
the casino boats, wasn't it?
They would casino boat, and they would work for nothing, and wanted to escape and go into like just be free, because even though maybe at this time slavery was maybe abolished, but they were still slaves because there was no pay. Like, where else can they go? And I'm not sure.
It could have been, but it could have been before the Civil War, right? So maybe it was abolished in the North, but except in the South, it was still like lingering. Yeah,
exactly. And then so Ayutunde takes her baby, and she heard of this city, of this establishment, the settlement that Mahalia set up, and that where you can thrive and be free and live and be happy, and so it's like the riverboat's passing through the swamp area, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So she jumps off the boat with her baby, but in the process she loses her baby, and so she's searching for him, and she thinks he's dead, but she's searching constantly the whole time. And then also the boat people, like the owner of the boat, is searching for her because like, no, we want you back on this boat.
Right.
But they never find her. But then she never finds her baby, and she's digging, and then eventually she turns into this sea monster, or like river monster, and she destroys the boat. And she's still to this day searching for her baby. But then that's when Hazel comes in and finds Honey, and then they get reunited, and it's really beautiful. I don't know.
That one really
stood out to me.
Yeah, it really did. And each time, like, even though I kind of knew by this point, like, you were going to discover a traumatic experience that the kind of boss or the evil thing that you were trying to overcome, like, I still like it was always still really well. It was all still satisfying, even though like, because they design these characters to almost look really evil, right? Well, they, really scary, right? And really kind of full of rage and trauma.
But every single one of them wasn't really bad.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Except for the Hank guy or whatever, the Karufaru or whatever his name was.
The final
boss,
cloud.
I guess he's the controller of nightmares and lives in the dreamland or whatever. So
I think, and picking up on him for a little bit, I think one of the things that really stood out to me, like that really like hit me personally, was like, when you're in this kind of surreal, the last world is this surreal version of Bourbon Street or New Orleans that's all fractured and
so good,
so beautiful, right?
My favorite one.
And the music during that level was really good jazz music. So I was just this like real surreal experience of you like going through this like, you've broken apart buildings and like just, nothing's connected, but you have to like platform to all of them. But you would come across these people and they were prisoners there because this boss or this entity was feeding off of their Kushma. That's it. There we go. Kushma feeds off of their despair. And, you find out they're in a loop of things where it's a lot of things like, oh, I never achieved my dream of being, a star, or, my parents never really loved me. So I'm going to keep doing this thing to make them love me. And I was going like, fucking hell, like, this is like, oh my God, these are real things that people go through. And we all think about at some point. They're all real
in this city. They're all trapped. Their souls are like trapped there, and they're forgetting who they are, even like their names and they're just like, and they're forced to relive these moments over and over, I guess, in their head, like their worst fears or their lives, and just over and over. And then Kushma feeds on that. So.
The despair and the trauma is what keeps the nightmares alive, right? So it's this kind of like snake eating its tail kind of thing, right? And that sort of leads us connected to Bunny's story, because Bunny, we find out it's a really tragic story. Bunny's, isn't it? And if effectively what happens is, so Bunny Flood. This is Hazel's grandma. Bunny's dad. Bunny had two kids, Hazel's dad and Hazel's aunt. And as you discover when you're sort of clearing the stigma in this particular chapter, that the daughter was the most favorite of Hazel. She loved her, adored her. She could do no wrong. The son, Hazel's dad, was kind of, sort of not as loved as much as the daughter. And through circumstances and events, the daughter's dress gets dirty one time. And, the big thing that Hazel was saying is like, she needs to be perfect. She needs to be clean. Don't do that. And the boy, Trey, takes her to the river and tries to clean her. But like,
well, first off, Trey gets in trouble for not being the big brother, and so her dress gets dirty and he gets blamed for it. So the second time she gets dirty again, he takes her to the river to try to wash her off. But and then she's so slippery
sadly she drowns,
she drowned.
And so
he's just a little boy, though.
He doesn't know. He's just a little boy, right? And it's this tragic, awful moment. And we see, we suddenly see not Hazel, but Bunny. We suddenly see Bunny, like, we know why she's now
so
behaving the way she is, and why she's like got this rage for her, because all she's doing is she wants to bring her daughter back, right? That's her whole thing, is she goes, I just want to bring her daughter back.
Wasn't her name Cherie?
Yes, Cherie,
like
that's right.
Shetty.
Yeah, my Cherie. And what's really interesting is they connect this story to one of the core big battles, which is Hug and Molly. Yeah,
and who Hug and Molly is?
Yeah, Hug and Molly. Tell us about that, Mike.
So what the lore is behind Hug and Molly is she comes at night or whatever to like children, and I forgot why she chooses certain children, like they're just like alone or whatever, but she like snatches. It's an Alabama lore is what I read, but
okay, cool,
supposedly. And so she like takes the children and she goes in the night and just takes the children basically,
right?
And then she leaves like strands of red yarn behind. And so like nobody likes Hug and Molly for this. Like, she just a children thief. So Kidnapper.
And she's this spider, right? She's
Looks like
this
a big
huge arachnid
spider.
like really, I mean, such a good character design.
Yes.
Like, go look it up. It's so sick. But then the parents and the like, you could imagine the parents say like, oh, Hug and Molly's gonna get you. You better be good, right? So they like really turn into this thing. But then as Hazel, you start to uncover the fact that there is Trey, her dad, was stolen by Hug and Molly at some point and survived. And through a series of like events and actions, it's basically Bunny has tricked Hazel into going and thinking that Hug and Molly's a bad character, because she wants her to go and defeat her and fight her, because Bunny thinks that Hug and Molly, if she takes Hug and Molly's heart, then she can resurrect Sherry or Cherie, her daughter. So it's like, it's really twisted themes of, you understand why Bunny is tricking Hazel into going to kill Hug and Molly. And as it turns out, Hug and Molly actually saves these kids. She's not evil. She's actually looking after them and making sure they're okay.
Because these are like unwanted kids. These are kids who are abused, and also relates to her mother, because her mother's the social worker trying to help kids. And then you turn to find out that her mother is actually taking these kids out of the system, these missing children, and giving them to Hug and Molly, because Hug and Molly is so loving and caring for them. You wouldn't think so looking at this huge spider, but
exactly. So it's this wonderful like unpacking of this evil character that they build up, and the design of it's really scary and evil. And Hazel doing what she feels is right, because she's actually thinking she has some sort of connection with Bunny now.
And she sees her mother wrapped in.
Yes.
So, I love the intro of this when you first get to Hug and Molly's lair. It's there's like a puppet show, and Hug and Molly's like putting on this puppet show of their house getting swept away in the water, and her mother like this, and then her showing Hug and Molly grabbing her mother and like wrapping her up in yarn or whatever. But what she's really doing is mending her. And I guess Hug and Molly can't speak. So, but Hazel's like, I want my mama, bitch, or whatever. Like, and then the fight starts, and Hug and Molly has no choice but to defend herself.
Exactly.
So that it's really deep. And it's really sad. So I just looked it up. Hug and Molly is from Alabama folklore, and it was told children who stay out too late were going to get snatched up by Hug and Molly. And then she would hug them so tight that not to like, it was called where was it, like a bone crushing hug or whatever, but it wouldn't kill them. It was just to scare them. And after hugging, she would let out a blood curdling scream right in their ears. So basically a paranormal jump scare with cuddles. And it was basically used it was used to basically deter kids from acting up or staying out late at night, so that they don't get, taken by Hug and Molly.
Gosh, man, no wonder like some generations are all fucked up, because you tell that to a kid and you're like, oh my God, Hug and Molly's gonna get you. I mean, I don't know, who knows, but yeah, and I love that the writers were then able to say, well, what is Hug and Molly's backstory? Is she really evil?
Let's make her not evil, but let's make her like something that people who just again, back to Benji. Let's go ahead and just like turn her into the bad one. Let's go ahead and pick on them and make them somebody who's bad. So, because Benji wasn't bad, but then he turned into a tree, which didn't really do nice things at the time, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it was his protection. It was his way to kind of grow and flourish. And I think that's the thing that when we were saying earlier that like I was happy to go through the repetitive battle nature, because the writers really earned it, and how they literally tied all this and wove it all together. Another pun.
Wove it all together.
Like, it was a really satisfying story that felt genuine. Like this could have absolutely been a movie or a series of TV.
It really could. It really is
so good, and it would have been so good, and they nailed it. But I'm so glad they did this in video game form, because one of the things that they were able to do is take the mythology and the folklore of this and turn it into really big, like makes America South this whole different kind of world that like we know from coming from Texas, right? Texas isn't technically this kind of area, but like it's adjacent enough that like we've been to New Orleans a lot or whatever. Like we know it, and you suddenly, we think about this place that in a lot of ways gets ignored in storytelling. Like I don't know of any other video game that's ever been set in this, right?
That's
like
not at all.
Yeah, how often have you seen games set in like, Roman mythology or Greek mythology, right? Those are really important, but this is almost like that version of it, of these big gods and monsters.
I love it.
Really kind of putting this
very
area on
unique,
the map.
And I hope more people do that, because it's or just take. I love the jazz. I love the New Orleans feel, especially like that last level. I was just like, oh, this is giving me it's so good. It was just drawn. I don't know, created so beautifully, and I love it so much. And I could play that. I can play that one again. It's just so good.
Yeah. Really, really good. What else? What haven't we talked about? I think we've covered quite a lot here. I'm looking over my notes. I think. Yeah, go on.
We hit the music. We hit the gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, the visuals, the atmosphere, the characters. I think. Yeah, I just I guess we got to give it a score though, Mike. On the Addison Gaming,
10 out of 10 for the story.
Story definitely 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Well, maybe a 9.5, because I really want to know why she's the Weaver. Why is she the chosen one? Why is she Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
That is so harsh. Maybe that's part 2, right? Maybe
fine.
Maybe as non-Weavers we're not allowed to know that. But,
well, the last chapter I was ready to play, and you literally do not. The last chapter is just a story, and there's one part you run into into the house, and then it's just a story. The last chapter is just a closing story. But so that was interesting to me. I don't know if I like it or don't, but I'm not sure on that yet. But
I liked it. I did.
I was happy to be done. I guess.
Yes. Yeah. I did like it.
So I
graphics,
guess 10 out of 10 on the
visuals,
story.
Yeah.
The graphics 10 out of 10.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. 100%. Gameplay mechanics, I would give it an 8.
Yeah.
I would give it an 8 for the platforming. The platforming and the linear open world area. Like I enjoyed the platforming. It wasn't like my most favorite game. It was very easy. It was, for the most part, because I had some problem with my figuring out which button to hit. But
that's not
I
the
would
game's
say
fault.
the platforming was easy. It was satisfying, and I really enjoyed it. So I give that an 8. The actual boss battles. The boss battles, I would give it a 9.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And then, but the little arena battle areas, I would give that a 6.
Okay.
I was bored with that.
Yeah.
After the first 10 times.
Music,
I would give that 10 out of 10.
Okay. And that story, graphics, gameplay, music. I think that's everything. I would say story definitely 10 out of 10. Check. Graphics 10 out of 10. I think on platforming, I'm a little bit harsher on it. I'd give it a 7, but so let's make that a 7.5 between the two of us.
Yeah.
Whatever these numbers mean, who knows? The boss battles, I would agree that's a 9. The Haint battles is 6, and the music's a 10. I think we're pretty much there, agreed.
So overall, I think the game's an 8.
Yeah, I think so too. That sounds about right. It's an 8 overall. In my heart, it's a 10.
Yeah,
but actually,
because this game is going to stay with me forever. Yeah. I'm always going to remember it. It really does have that effect. I really enjoyed it, and it did resonate with me in a way that I didn't think it would. And I felt personal. I just felt really good. I just really enjoyed the story.
Yeah, I mean, I've never walked away from a game having genuinely felt emotions in the way that I have, and thinking about my own life and the experiences I've been through, or people I know have been through things, not necessarily exactly like what's in the story here, but stuff that you can kind of relate it to. And really as I'm playing going really feeling it. But then also just the journey Hazel goes on is so well executed. And her as a character, and the acting in this game is stellar. Everyone is so well cast. And just everyone is so well realized. I just really hope this team knows what they've done. Yeah, I do too.
They did, and then I think they already know the critiques that it's a little handholdy for me. But I think they know that too. So I think if this is where they start, I don't know what else they put out. Have they put out anything else? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think so. I think this is Compulsion Games.
So like if this is where they started in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to if this is how you start, like like a startup, then I'm looking forward to what you can bring to the table in the future because this if this is your like template or this is your can't even think of the word. Think of if this is what you this is your model, like not model. What am I saying? What was the word?
Is this your style? Your
yes.
Like your yeah.
But like your when you create something and then this is like the example.
Yes.
Anyway, long story short, I'm looking forward to what you can create in the future.
Yeah.
So prototype. Well, this is your prototype is what I was looking for. So
yes. Yeah. And I just did a quick look. It is Compulsion Games. And they have on their title of their website, they do handcrafted hallucinatory adventures.
Oh, I like that.
Which is great. And they've got a few other games, one called We Happy Few. Okay. I don't know if that one's out yet.
Okay. So this is pretty much their flagship.
I would say so. Yeah. But I'm worried though, because, like in the news this past week, you saw all the layoffs at Xbox. Oh, yeah. I mean, at Microsoft, like 9,000 people. And listen, anybody out there who's listening to this, that's gone through that, really thinking about you all. I hope you're okay and you land on your feet.
Yeah, it sucks.
Not a good time. So who knows? Compulsion Games is now under the umbrella of Xbox Studios. So I don't know if they've been affected by this, the layoffs there. So but if they are, we're sending you our thoughts and good luck with everything. Yeah, there you go. Full spoiler cast of South of Midnight. I enjoyed talking to you about this, Mike.
Yes, it's really good. And I really enjoyed this game. I'm glad you brought it into my life and told me about it. And I got it for $1 because of the Xbox 1 week or 2 week trial.
There you go.
And I was like, might as well. So
absolutely.
Would you say this game's a top, a bottom, verse, or a side?
I would say it is I think it's a verse, in my opinion. No?
It's 100% bottom.
It's 100% bottom, you think?
Yes. It's why? So because of what they
help
mean.
me out. I can never remember the qualifiers.
Top is demanding. It's hard, it's demanding, and it's very
punishing, right? Challenging. No. Okay, it's not that.
Bottom is mysterious and inviting.
Oh yeah.
A verse is both challenging and inviting, and like it has mystery and whimsy and fun, and but also very challenging.
Right.
And then and then the side is it was I played it. I'm done. Never. Whatever. Like I would have been okay without it. So
yeah. Then you're definitely right. It is a bottom. It's a bottom. And just to say, listeners, we have no problem with sides. Live your best life. Not all. That is just a fun rating system.
Yeah. Side is like it happened. Is not side it was shame. Fun. I enjoyed it. Will I invite it back? Probably not.
Then it is definitely on the Odyssey gaming rating scale. This is definitely a bottom. It is definitely mysterious and inviting.
Yes, but it's not challenging. So if you like games that are easy to play and that you won't not too difficult, and and then they also can change the difficulty. You can make it super easy if you want to.
Yeah. Could we call this one a beautiful bottom because the graphics are so good?
Bottom. It's a beautiful bottom.
It's a beautiful bottom in all the best ways. Well, I guess that so 8 out of 10 on a number score, beautiful bottom on the Odyssey gaming score. That rating system's so stupid, Mike. I love that you came up with that. But it's perfect. It's perfect. So yeah, that's about everything for this spoiler cast on South of Midnight. Did you play South of Midnight, listeners? If so, share your thoughts with us. What rating would you give it? If you haven't played it yet, please stop what you're doing and go pick up this game. Put it on your list. It will definitely be worth your time. You will have a lot of fun. But now that you've heard everything, because it's, hopefully this has enticed you to kind of want to go experience it for yourself.
And see how the story unfolds.
Exactly. Yeah, because we did jump around, right? We told you some deep things, but how it all is connected is definitely worth definitely worth you getting involved in and checking it out. And as Mike said, it's on Game Pass. So if you've got Game Pass, you've already paid for it. So download it and get involved. And see what you can do. I'd love to see this come to the Switch too. I reckon they will.
I think it would be an easy port because
Yeah.
it's not too graphically the graphics
I
are
don't think
great,
so.
but I don't think
Yeah.
it's like demanding because it's not a huge open world. It's very linear, so I think it can handle
Yeah.
it. Especially if you can handle Cyberpunk 2077. It's like you can handle this game.
Yeah, and interestingly, with Xbox shifting to releasing a lot of their first-party games on PlayStation and on Nintendo, this is one that hasn't been announced yet, which is curious to me. So it's interesting to see what they do with this because this needs to get out there to as many people as it possibly can. So hopefully that happens.
It just also, I feel like for, I don't know, like for people of color, or people from the South, even just seeing representation in a game. That also seeing your story represented, like your history, ancestry represented as well. I think it's really cool, and you don't see that a lot at all. So,
representation matters. Absolutely, right? Absolutely,
100%.
And not only just represented for representation's sake, but represented with care, with authenticity, with
a lot of care.
Writers of color. The people who were really creating the story and these characters and whatnot. They are authentically part of this world and really wanted to make sure it was real. So kudos to everyone involved on this game. Really awesome, really great work. Right, well, I guess Mike, that's about all the time we have left for this one. Get ready for the next episode because it is going to be all about Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's going to be our initial reactions to playing it for maybe a few hours or so. We're going to just dive right in after a few hours. Spoiler alert, Mike, I've already got mine downloaded on my Switch.
Shut your filthy mouth.
They just did it today. I pre-ordered it and they were like, it's downloaded, it's ready to go, which is the worst because I can see it there.
See, I will do it the night before because what's the point? I can do whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. But it's done. It's ready to go. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm happy to do. I'm over it. Digital's fine for me. Digital's fine.
Well, hey, get excited for that. Tell us where our listeners can find us.
So our listeners, you're going to have to help me out with this, Mike. So how about this? I'm going to throw it this way. If you want to write in and share your thoughts and comments on South of Midnight, you can write us to us at gamers, GAMERS at outofsyncgaming.co.uk. That's gamers at outofsyncgaming.co.uk. One more time for the kids in the back. Gamers at outofsyncgaming.co.uk. Share your thoughts on South of Midnight. Ask us questions about anything. We'll talk about it in an upcoming episode. Anything you want to send to us, please do. On socials, Mike, where can people find us there? Because you know that much better than I do.
Out of Sync Gaming on Instagram, Out of Sync Gaming on TikTok, Out of Sync Gaming Station on Twitch, and obviously on YouTube. Out of Sync Gaming Station, and then on Blue Sky.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Blue Sky one? Out of Sync Gaming.
Out of Sync Gaming. Yeah, just pretty much Out of Sync. If you look for Out of Sync Gaming, you will find us. Great. Well, and don't forget, please like and subscribe. We are growing that base. The community is growing. Thank you all so much for those who are enjoying our content. We love making it for you all. So subscribe so you know when the latest episode gets released. It really helps us get seen by more people, and we want to continue to share our thoughts about all the stuff we like to talk about and share it with you. So cool. Well, I guess that leaves us only thing left to say until next time.
Play what you want to.
Bye.
Bye.